They're on the cowboy aesthetic. The New York Times wants to know what's up with this cowboy aesthetic that is taking off. And apparently there's this show called Yellowstone or something that is popular right now, or maybe 5 years ago, that they're just stumbling onto, and they're just trying to figure out what is this? Because the rural aesthetics are in. And so they've put together a crack team. They have the New York Times opinion editor, Mar Ahmed, the photo editor, Emily Keegan, the columnist and sociologist, Tressie McMillan Cottom, and they all got together to try to discuss what this cowboy aesthetic is telling us. Because, they don't understand why people voted for Donald Trump, but maybe the cowboy aesthetic is explaining it. Yellowstone and the hunting wives. So what does it say about our society? And they say that, well, Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is probably the biggest reason, because Donald Trump, stop talking to your own people, and why don't you start talking to real people? They say it's Donald Trump because he is associated with rural life. And when I think of Donald Trump, I think of the great outdoors, hiking, cattle ranching. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think of him in the great outdoors, in the rural life.
From the peak, the top of Trump Tower, he can see rural areas. Way in the distance,
way away.
On a perfectly clear day, maybe.
Yeah. Right. And also it's happening because he continues to appeal to southernness, which, ready, raises the specter of racism. Southernness does? Southernness. Raises the specter of genteel womanhood and, quote, all of the things the South is kind of known for. It's weird. The South is known for more than the 1860s now.
Really?
It is known for its genteel, what did they say, genteel womanhood? I think, yeah. And I will tell you, there is something about genteel womanhood in the South. I absolutely love it. Some people hate it. I love it. The genteel women never tell you to F off. They instead say, would you like some tea? How about some nice iced tea? Or, wow, bless your heart. Mm-hmm. I love that. It's so much better than, a woman going, F you. Why, bless your heart. Love that.
And of course, Trump very associated with genteel Southern women. I'm pretty sure Melania is from Southern Slovenia.
Believe she is. Believe she is. When you think of Southern women, you think, oh, Donald Trump, right? Genteel Southern women. Donald Trump.
You think of him, if anything, again, like this, these are all dumb observations, even if he were from the South, but like you think of him as like the ultimate New Yorker. He's the guy in the boardroom on the top floor of the skyscraper. That's what you think of when you think of Donald Trump.
I know. Right. He's like a harsh New Yorker. He really is. Yeah. He's, and what's weird is not in real life. The Trump that you see on TV that they are always mocking and always talking about is that flash of him as a performer. In real life, he is that really genteel, very kind of guy, very personal one-on-one. It's an amazing thing. They never see that.
Yeah,
but
you've told the story.
Apparently because he tweets a lot, we need to buy a cowboy hat.
Right. You told the story, Glenn, of before Trump was running for president, and you were staying at one of the Trump resorts, right? I'm remembering the story, yes. And he call you,
and I misjudged him. I think about this all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've apologized to the man because I so misjudged the man. Because I didn't know anybody like him. And now that I've gotten to know him and I know people who know him and have known him forever, this is who he is. So it was right before he announced, but we knew he was going to run. And we had been friends for a while. And I mean, I don't want to say friends. I mean, I don't think I'm a friend of his now, but I kind of am, I guess. He'll call me. We text each other. But so he said to me, this is like, I don't know, 2010 or something. We met at a party for Larry King, his like 900th birthday. And he knew I travel a lot, and he was a fan of the show, and he would watch and he would see that I was doing all these stage shows in the days when I would travel for 30 different shows a year. And he said, whenever you're in town in New York, or when you're traveling around, stay at a Trump hotel. Now, I had to pay, what I mean? He wasn't offering it for free, but he was like, just stay at a Trump hotel. I'm telling you, they're the best. We take care of our guests. Okay. So I go to New York, and I'm staying at the Trump International. And it's at this time where, remember, I had to eat that diet. I had a diet of where I could only eat like 70 ingredients. And it was really, really strict. And because I was going through my doctors, every doctor I saw, they were like, you're being poisoned. And I'm like, yeah, we've done all the poison tests. I'm not being poisoned. And they're like, we're being poisoned. I'm like, I'm paranoid enough. Would you stop saying that? And we couldn't ever figure out what was happening with my body. But they put me on a very strict diet of 70 ingredients. And so I couldn't eat anywhere. And so I called him up and I said, hey, I'm coming to New York. I have a chef that has to travel with me because I can only eat these 70 things and it has to be exact. And I said, could you accommodate? And he's like, now in New York, somebody who doesn't work in that kitchen to be allowed in the kitchen, that's a hassle. Okay. And he's like, absolutely, not a problem. So we go there, I stay in for a couple of days, and I was supposed to stay for a week, and I had to cancel it because my father was dying. So I'm there for 2 days, and then because I left abruptly, and the kitchen was like, where's the guy with the, is Mr. Beck still here? Somehow or another, he found out that I left. I go to Seattle, my father dies, I come back home, and he calls me up, and he said, is there a reason you left early from the hotel? Did something go wrong? And I said, yes, sir, my father passed away. And he said, oh my gosh, Glenn, I'm so sorry to hear. And he just gushed. And he was so relatable and so kind and everything else. And then, like, I don't know, a week later, he announces that he's running for president. And I assume the worst of the man. And I can't believe I'm confessing this. This is so horrible for me to say. This is one of the worst things I've done in a long time. I really regret the things I said about Donald Trump because I was really wrong. Anyway, so I remember getting on the air as soon as he announces, or we know. And I said, that son of a bitch has been courting me this whole time. He has been setting me up for an endorsement. That's what this whole thing has been about. And I assumed the worst of him. And that's not what it was about. I can tell you now, that's not what it was about. That is who he is. And he was just such a gracious guy. And I spat in his face for it. And I regret it. But he's not anything that you think he is. Anything the press says he is, he's not that guy. And you know it. The one thing I did say about him when I was saying bad things about him, the one thing I couldn't square, and I kept saying this, is the only thing that doesn't make sense is his kids are so unbelievable and his daughters love him to death. And you can't be that guy. How is it he has raised such great children? And I thought, well, it's their mom. It's not. I mean, I'm sure mom played a role in that, but it's him too. They love him. And if you listen to, just watch the way they react about him. I mean, my kids don't act like that about me. I mean, they adore the man, and you can't fake that with your kids. They just won't do it. Just won't. So, is that the story you were trying to weasel out of me today in my weakness?
That is, and I almost got you to cry. It was so close, and we got you down the road.
You got me down there, but I refused to go.
I figured with you being this tired, the tears would flow, but whatever. We got close.
I know. Yeah. Thanks a lot. That's what we pay you for, apparently.
Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.